All right, ¿qué pasa, mi gente? Tio Lalo here with you again. Today, we are going to be doing a little bit of scroll work and hand engraving. But before that can happen, we need to transfer the design onto the slide. So this is a slide that I was pretty much thinking that I was done. I felt like it was missing something here. And so we're going to add some scroll work today. But before we can do that, we've got to add a template. Now, in the past, I've used a laser to add the templates because it's just fast and easy. But not everybody has a laser, so we are going to teach you how to add a template using basically a printed sized design. So using a printer, so you need a laserjet printer with some toner, and you're going to need to make sure that you size everything out correctly for your design. So we won't go through that because that's just basic design work. But this is basically the backbone we're going to be using. So I've done a couple different sizes for it. And so as you can see, the design is on this side, and we're going to be putting it face down. Now, what you need to make sure when you print these designs out that you're going to engrave, you need to make sure that you mirror it, because when you go to place it on here, it's backwards. So the first design that I printed out today was actually backwards, and so I had to go back and reprint. And again, this, you have to have a laser jet, has to be toner, and I like to use like 25-pound or less trace paper. That way you can look under and see where you're at exactly with your design. Some of the other things that you're going to need today are going to be some masking tape. You're going to want a little bit of masking tape, as that helps keep your design in place. You're going to need acetone, and you're going to need alcohol. You'll need like some sort of really good alcohol, 70% or better, in order to clean the area for any oils or anything like that. Now, like I said, we're going to be transferring that. This is something that a lot of people have asked me, and I want to make sure that I'm doing it as best I can. Because not everybody has access to lasers. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of rubbing alcohol on here. Okay, we've got a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Move that out of the way. And we're just going to clean the area real good. Like, there cannot be any oils whatsoever. All right. No oils whatsoever can be on the metal piece that you want to transfer the design on. So right there, we are looking pretty good. Awesome. Okay, so we are clean now. Now, I'm going to throw on some, well, I think I should be fine. Sometimes even the oils off of your fingers can ruin this portion. Now, I want to make sure that the piece or the design that I have is correct. So we're going to turn on the microscope light just to make sure that I'm sizing this correctly. And I made a couple different sizes to make sure that I picked it out correctly. Awesome. Okay, that looks correct right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of tape on the top in order to keep it in place. E. Rodriguez 208. Hey man, I can't actually talk about rates on here as far as for pew-pews because of YouTube policy, but I can say reach out to me and we can talk pricing. Usually what I tell people is it usually comes out to about $50 an hour shop rate for labor and everything is what I've been telling most people on here. So reach out. Let's see. All right, let's make sure that we gotta make sure we don't move it. So we're gonna plant it right there. Perfect. This is probably one of the harder points right here. Okay, and it cannot cover any of the area right there. Okay. All right, guys. Perfect. That's right where we need it at. Now, we're going to go ahead and, again, everything should be clean. Okay, so the toner, again, is on this side. It's going to be going down that way. Now, most times I like to use a laser because it's just faster, but with the laser, it's permanent, or you have to sand it out, or unless you have some really thick paint to be able to transfer it, then that's usually the problem you run into. So now we're just going to get some acetone. Make sure that you guys are obviously careful with stuff when using this stuff. So I'm going to go grab some gloves because I don't want to touch acetone by itself. All right, I got some gloves on. So PPE is important. And we're going to transfer this part right here. Now the toner should transfer nicely. Now I'm not great at this, guys, so we could have a failure here. And that's why I've printed off a bunch of them. You get a cloth or a napkin. Nice and soaked. Okay, you have acetone on there. Okay, it's on there. Now we're gonna push it off. Okay, so not the greatest transfer, but that is gonna do for today because that's all I need before I go in and scribe. So if you do it correctly, like really, really well, most of the toner should come off and transfer onto the metal. Now with this, we obviously do it by hand. So this is enough for me to actually go in and scribe. So let's go ahead and scribe in. But yeah, that's just your basic template transfer. Now I'm going to go under and we're going to scribe where we want to engrave. So that way if we take the ink off or the toner off of the metal by accident, we still have a good idea of where we're going to do it. Okay. Beautiful. Just an outer portion right there. And then this other backbone right up here. Again, I just need the backbone because I kind of have my design already in my head set out. So we just need a really good template for just creating that backbone. And that's what this template gave us. And obviously this wing or this leaf being created out here. Okay, so that basically, that scribe is done. Now we can technically, I could wipe this off, but it's, that toner still stays on there pretty good. So, now that we have that set, we can turn on our engraver. I've made sure that we are sharp today, prior to this, because we were engraving the frame that I cannot show on YouTube, unfortunately. The frame is considered a firearm, so no firearms on here. We only do art pieces and the slide like this one right here. So, again, guys, if you're just coming through, we are just working on a transfer, and we're going to be doing a little bit of scroll work engraving onto here. And right now we're creating the backbone. So let me get this in place. Make sure you guys are properly set to be able to view this correctly. And let's get engraving. All right, guys. So we're starting here. This is a backhand cut right now. Now we're going to follow this top one because it's the backhand cut. So that's how it grows. Oh, I'm getting caught back here on my shirt. So tip is don't wear long sleeve shirts if you can help it. That are loose at the wrist. Beautiful, guys. Okay, there's the first cut right there. We'll zoom out a little bit, that way you guys can kind of see what we've got going on. Again, guys, this is a 1911 Colt slide. Now, since we've got to do this portion, we're growing from it, we're going to go ahead and back to the same start. Now we're doing a forehand cut. So creating that other beveled edge. Now we can keep going through here because we're going to follow that beveled edge right through here. Beautiful. Ruben Rowitz, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate Irk. Enemy guy, thank you for tuning in, guys. All right, so we've created, obviously, what you see here is two beveled edges going around. So we're creating that design. And we're going to have to create that other beveled edge, so that backhand cut for this one, and then that forehand cut for this one. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. So we've got to start growing from the division right there. Okay, and there we go, a little deeper. And now we're on our backhand cut for this one. Keep following that same engraving, guys. Now, since it grows from here, we have to follow this other branch off of the backbone. throwing it. There we go. Beautiful. What do you guys think of that? Beautiful, beautiful, guys. So this is, again, this is just accenting the scroll work over here. I just felt like there was a lot of negative space right here that we could use to add some sort of accent. So we're gonna add a little bit more of that flare cut right here. So today's session is gonna be pretty short. We're just gonna get this done, and we're really done with this, and then we go on to polishing. So let's go ahead and finish the backhand cut for this one right here. Guys, I'm going to tell you guys, so I thank you for subscribing, all the people that have subscribed so far. Thank you for the support. We were finally able to make it, and we applied, and now we are an official YouTube partner. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you again. If you're just passing through, please consider subscribing. Could not do it without you guys, and hopefully you guys are learning a little bit on my journey. You know, we will be doing some other stuff when it comes to even drawing. I'd like to show you guys how to draw and how to design some of this stuff, because that's really where the magic happens when it comes to engraving, is drawing, and the art of it is the first portions. Cutting is awesome, cutting is really satisfying, but drawing is where the magic happens, guys. Okay, we're doing that forehand cut on this side. Following it. So we notice I almost went too far. We've got that branch off right here. Boom, beautiful. Okay. Now I'm gonna start from the back side right here, and we'll do a backhand cut backwards. Beautiful. We'll do a forehand cut right here. Ruben Rowitz. I've only been doing this for like a little over a year and a half, hand engraving. I've been doing laser engraving and engraving this kind of stuff, pews, for about 2 years now. And it's just a side like hustle, side hobby, I guess you could say. I just enjoy it. And so this is just the fun. This is probably one of the more fun cuts out there, is the flare cut. A lot of people really enjoy it. I enjoy it. So that's why I like to demonstrate it when I get a chance. All right, guys, we're going to do a forehand cut, finish the backbone off right here. Again, we're just following it. And, you know, it's crazy because you would think that this cut, these flare cuts are hard, but I think they're the easiest ones compared to really fine. It's called Bellino engraving. Bellino engraving, I think, is the most challenging. And Bellino engraving is like what you see with like the Rembrandt art and some of the Rococo stuff. You know, that beautiful work that you see on like really fine firearms, or swords, like from back in the day. That Bellino engraving is wild, and it takes a lot of time. It's almost like stippling. If any of you have done any stippling art with pens, similar to that, it's just very fine cuts in the metal. And so this is actually a little bit easier, in my opinion. All right, let me go ahead and make sure we're set here. Boy, those cuts look nice today. I really am enjoying the cuts today. Ruben Rowitz, yes, we do as well. Again, we won't be able to actually show that on here because a rifle is considered you know, a full firearm. And with YouTube's policies, we cannot do that. So we're gonna stick to slides, jewelry, things that we can actually do. Maybe even accessories, but that's really due to the I guess policies in place. All right, guys, we're gonna clean it up a little bit with a little bit of alcohol. So just to get that ink that we had, that toner from the transfer. So there it is, guys. Look at that. So some of that toner is still on there. That toner actually stays there. Texas Best. So we are using a Lindsay air graver. So really good air graver. I also have a GRS. So GRS.com also sells them. So Carl Close, yeah, so you can use hammer and chisel, which is awesome. This basically is a pneumatic hammer and chisel in essence. So there's a piston in here that goes back and forth, basically hitting the same type of chisel you would use with hammer and chisel. So I do have a chasing hammer and chisel. So here's one of my chasing hammers that we can use, but this is obviously faster and easier on the hands as well. All right, let's get back to adding some leaves into this. Now, as you know, guys, we try to do most things by hand. So let's go ahead and add some good old leaf patterns in here. So we've got to try to take up this negative space. So we're going to grow from here. We're going to go and, yep, just like that right there. Ooh, man, I take too much caffeine this morning. A little shaky. That coffee's hitting. 3 cups is not cool. All right, so we're going to grow from there, okay? You can see that. Carl Close, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Again, guys, if you guys are just coming through, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you can. Let me go ahead and we're going to set the camera a little bit more so you guys can actually see the full process. There we go. Okay, so I got to make sure that when you guys are actually seeing it as I rotate it, you guys can actually see where we're cutting. So guys, again, I can't express it enough. Thank you again. We are finally a YouTube partner, and I say I, because this is just a single person run studio. We're doing that backhand cut, guys. Thinning it out. There we go. Okay. There's one cut. Christian Villanueva. So I can't really say how much. It just there's just varying prices. It's like any art piece, any project out there. I will say that the shop price I usually try to put at is about $50 an hour to try to keep it reasonable where we're at in our day and age and economy and time. So I don't want to overcharge, but I also need to make enough to pay the bills, if that makes sense. Now, again, guys, shop rate for lasers on average is about $60 an hour or $1 per minute. Engraving with a laser usually takes a lot less time, a lot less effort, obviously. So it'll still come out cheaper with lasers, but I really like hand cut stuff. because you just can't do this with a laser. Board Bama, the slide is not stainless, so we are still gonna plate this or blue it. I'm still undecided on what we're gonna do right now, but it is gonna have to have some sort of protective coating at some point in time. So no, it is not stainless. We can do stainless. The crazy thing with stainless is it actually doesn't bright cut as nice. So how this is really shiny and nice and bright, stainless tends to it's almost like it's tearing is what it does. And different metals act differently. So for bright cuts, a high carbon steel like this is really nice. It comes out nice. But stainless tends to it almost looks like it mars itself when you're engraving it, regardless of how sharp the graver is and how polished the graver is, which is the trick to getting a mirror cut. So, Bobby Valdez, thank you. Blazing 420, I'd have to look at it. Like I said, guys, different metals act differently, so it just depends on what metal we're doing it on. Sometimes if it's too hard of a metal, I would just say, hey, laser is the way to go, and then we can maybe hybrid engrave. So what we do with hybrid engraving, this is a hybrid engraving in the fact that, like right here, this portion is all laser engraved, the 3D portion, but then we've gone in and hand cut everything else, right? So this is what I would consider a hybrid engraved slide for that matter. But it just depends on choice. 510 stainless. Yeah, 520 stainless, sorry. Or 510, yeah. 510, yeah, that's a pretty hard stainless. I'm sure you probably could. It's just a matter of, I guess, seeing what the hardness level is for 510 before ever starting on something like that. All right, let's see. Let's get another template going, guys. All right, so we're going to do another guide. This is the first leaf backbone. That's what I'm creating, and then we grow from there. So let's get started. Thank you again, guys, for the comments. Again, guys, some people don't like this. Some people don't consider it art, or some people just don't like it, and that's totally fine. I think that's important with art. Some people will not like certain arts and stuff, and it just is what it is. But thank you for all the kind comments. All right, now we're going to go in with the backhand cut. And we're going to go backwards. So we start with a forehand cut right here. And I usually like to bring it from back here. Blazing 420. Yes, I do. We do gold plate. I gold plate only the stuff that I'm engraving. I know that a lot of people will, polish and gold plate for people. I just don't. I don't find satisfaction in that. So if I'm doing a full art piece for somebody, I 100% will do the work. If I can't do the work, I do have some resources for other people that have better plating systems out there that I reach out to them. They're close friends of mine, also artists as well, but they do a little bit more than I and have capability in their shops more than I do in my small art studio. But thank you, thank you. Yeah, next year's books are open at the moment. This year we're pretty much full. I can maybe take on one or two more projects for this year, but I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I'd rather not promise too much and overdeliver, if that makes sense. Okay, guys, we're gonna work on that portion right there. If you're just going through, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for 20 Blaze, or yeah, Blazing 420. Thank you for subscribing. If you don't have time to stick around too long, hey, no worries. I appreciate the support. If anybody's interested in learning this stuff, hopefully you subscribed. I am hopefully in the future, once I feel like I'm better, I can start a little bit more educational side of stuff. Right now I'm kind of at the educational side is kind of more so you guys ask the questions and I try to answer them as fast as I can. I am under a microscope, so I don't answer the questions as fast as I'd like since I'm working, but I will try to get to you as best I can. Now, you don't need a microscope to do this, guys. You can use like a magnifier glass set that you can purchase like Amazon and stuff. Thank you, Ruben. Appreciate the subscription. Dark as sunshine. Best way to practice is honestly, first of all, learning the art. So picking up the art and learning how to create it is the best part to do it. The next part to learning how to practice is understanding what a graver geometry does. So this graver geometry right now that we're using is 120 angles. So this to this is 120 degrees with a 15-degree heel, that little glint right there, and I think I put a 60-degree face, meaning the angle right here. So understanding this geometry is huge. GRS on YouTube has some great classes that teach you about geometries for gravers and how to sharpen them. Honestly, if you want to engrave really well, that was one of my stopping or like big speed bumps in my learning process, was understanding sharpening the graver. Because if you don't understand how to sharpen a graver, you will just become extremely frustrated. I'm telling you, you will become so extremely frustrated that you will not engrave. That's why instead of, doing this for 2 years, I've been doing this for about a year and a half, because 6 months of my time was really lost because I didn't understand how to sharpen this, and I just got really frustrated, and I was just scratching metal and not engraving it how it's supposed to, and I couldn't understand why until I took a course from a gentleman out here near me here in Idaho, and he taught me about graver geometry, and it changed my game completely. So understanding graver geometry is huge. GRS has some great courses for free that you can watch and really dive into graver geometry. And this goes for graver geometry is huge for whether you're doing hammer and chisel or whether you're doing like a pneumatic system like I'm using here. It's huge. So yeah, get that down and you will learn so much more. Let's see. I'm feeling something around here is getting caught, so I'm just going to clean it up. Sometimes you'll have burrs from unclean graving, so that's just my bad. Cool. Awesome, guys. Okay, so we're done with that one. Let's go ahead and get going on some other ones. Guys, if you're just tuning in for a second, please consider subscribing. I know that this can be a long process, so I don't expect everybody to stick around the whole time. But I do appreciate the support. Okay, feeding from here. Okay. Darkest Sunshine, you're welcome. You're welcome. Like I said, if I can get to answering and explaining questions, I definitely try to. Wrap this around a little bit more. Awesome. Now we're going to add a backhand cut right here just to create some dividing geometry and add a little bit more glint. Awesome. Gassim, I am using the Airgraver by Steve Lindsay. This is just a classic model. I do have the GRS, the brand new one. I really enjoy that one. It's a little bit more powerful than the Steve Lindsay, but we don't need a ton of power for this seal. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to grab my dog. Come on. In. Come on, buddy. Go lay down. Good boy. Lay down. Lay down, buddy. Lay down. Good boy. Get warm. Sorry, guys. The dog's been outside. He's not meant for the cold, and it's kind of cold out here today, so if I don't make him come in, he just stays out there for way too long. My Aston Martin DB7. Awesome, man. I do a little bit of woodwork, too. I actually started with woodwork before I moved into engraving. I would suggest learning the art. And yes, guys, I know that there was a question about artistic on paper. Yeah, definitely you've got to learn how to draw it. If you don't understand the design portion of it, now, like, I still don't understand the design completely, and my designs are very simple usually, compared to some beautiful stuff from other famous engravers, or from famous engravers, not other, but from famous engravers. But understanding the basic aspect of a backbone and building the vine. So basically, when you look at scroll work, it's just like a plant. So think about the plant grows from here, grows bigger, grows a little bit bigger, right? And it just kind of goes. And understanding when to go smaller, especially in a space, is huge. Now, there's probably master engravers that come by my channel that probably like pass by or just in passing and see my stuff, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's hideous." And yeah, I'm sure that one day I'll look back at my work that I'm doing now and be like, "Man, what was I thinking?" But this is my understanding of engraving right now, and so this is how my art is growing, and we'll just keep doing it from there. Awesome. backhand cut right here. Now, the course that I took to learn this sort of engraving, it was actually an online course. I saw some videos on YouTube, but Sam Alfano, he's a master engraver. He sells a course just for flare cuts. I highly suggest going and checking it out. I think it was like something like $60 for the course. It's like an hour-long video course. But if you have any engraving knowledge, like basic engraving knowledge, and you go take his course, I feel pretty confident that you'll be able to engrave as good or better than me. So yeah, if you're wondering, he does a really good job at explaining stuff, better than I can. And for the price of $60, I didn't think it was very. I didn't think that was bad at all to learn. Awesome. Okay. Tony Shore, nice, man. Awesome. Hopefully it looks good. Let's see. Darkest Sunshine. Mistakes. I mean, oof. Mistakes suck. I mean, if you make that big of a mistake and you're having to fix it, hopefully it's not that noticeable. But mistakes do happen, and there's a few methods to dealing with them. Don't want to make a mistake while I'm talking to you. Focus real fast on this weed. Awesome. Okay. But you can get an agate or a ruby stone. So these ruby stones, I have some that are duller, and they work really good. It's about a 3,000 grit. So this is about 3,000 grit, and it works really good at smoothing some stuff out and plying over some of the metal if there's a scratch. Now, if you make a mistake that's deeper than like 0.5 millimeter, you're either going to live with it or you're going to have to sand and repolish the area, as long as it doesn't, affect anything mechanically or durability wise. Let's see. I want to create a little bit of a lip right here. Again, guys, I do suggest everything I tell you, it's obviously my own opinion. Nothing, take it with a grain of salt. This is my disclaimer for you to, if you're going to be doing stuff like on this stuff, obviously I suggest going to a certified gunsmith before doing anything and talking to them, is what I suggest. My Aston Martin. So as far as like Damascus, really the Damascus really wouldn't be any different other than what you've heat treated, like how you've heat treated it. So if it's not heat treated, you like from what my knowledge is, you should be okay and it shouldn't break graver tips. If it's heat treated, depending on the hardness that it's been heat treated to, you might be breaking graver tips while you're engraving, and so that's usually the The problem you have if you're doing Damascus is if it's been heat treated. Let's see. Gotta zoom in a little bit. Just trying to play with smaller pieces of the engraving. It's got to be a little bit more precise. Trend Rides, thank you. Chevy, a little over a year and a half, hand engraving. Michael McKellar, yeah, man, Holland and Holland, some of those guns, man, master engravers, like beautiful, beautiful works. I don't think this is anywhere near that, obviously. Hopefully one day I can create some artwork like that. I mean, those pieces are just pieces of art. I don't even consider those, you know, pew-pews at that point. They're just pieces of art, and I'd rather own that than any painting. All right, let's see. Okay, we've got to grow something here. Trend Rides, as far as polish, like keeping steel polished, yeah, there's ceramic coatings out there. I think there's some ceramic coatings. I think Cerakote sells a ceramic coating. So you could technically line it out. I don't know how it affects the look, like the gloss look of polished steel. But I have seen that. Nickel sometimes serves a pretty good protector. It can still scratch, obviously. Bluing is a little bit more resistant to scratching, I've found. So I do love a high polished blue. They look great. But yeah, I've seen some people use Cerakote. I haven't used it myself. But I have seen it. So if you use it, let me know how it goes. Guys, if you're just coming through, again, I want to say thank you today because this is the first stream I've done since I went in as a YouTube partner with this channel. Thank you again. I can't do it without you guys. Even if you guys are just swinging through, just quickly glancing and subscribing, I appreciate it greatly. You know, YouTube channels can't make it without you guys. I don't know where this will lead, if it'll lead anywhere, but it's a big step in my art endeavor out here. So thank you again. All right, guys. Okay. So that is, I think I'm going to keep it to that. I just kind of wanted to do something simple, nothing too complicated. Trying to see if design wise, I want to add anything out here, maybe here. Let's see. What we'll do is we're going to add one slight leaf right there. I think that would look good. We're going to add a slight little Just a little leaf right there, guys. The only reason I'm doing that is just because it's a flat bottom. So I think with this flat bottom, kind of taking care of some of this space right here, might make it look good. Okay. Again, guys, those are really tiny leaves. You might not be able to see them very well on the screen. And even to the naked eye, they're not going to be super, how should I say, prominent. But they do catch light, and it does look nice under the microscope. So there we go. It's just one leaf. That's all we needed right there. One more leaf right here. Alrighty, guys. Okay, let's look at what it looks like from a full view. I appreciate those that have stuck around. So I'm going to go ahead, out of appreciation, obviously, show you what everything looks like. I'm going to grab some alcohol, wipe everything. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab some acetone on this one. Just some of that toner still there. So I need a little bit more oomph in our cleaning. Clean that up. All right, let's see. I'm gonna undo this, guys. It's been almost an hour, which that goes to show you when people ask about how much it costs. Obviously, just this part right here was about an hour. So think about it, $50 for just that part right there. Now, so if you guys are wondering about pricing when it comes to stuff, we got a bunch of. Let's see. I'm gonna wipe stuff down, make sure we can see this. Now, I thought we were done engraving this about 3 or 4 days ago or something. I think 3 days ago. But after I started seeing that, I just couldn't let it go. So that's why we ended up doing that design today. Hopefully the transfer taught some of you how to do it. If you guys didn't see that part and you want to know how to transfer designs, it's at the beginning of this video. But there we go, guys. Let's see if it looks better without the light from the microscope. Right there. And yep, 38 Super slide. We've got, it's called La Última Cena because that's a theme of this one. We've got some designs right there, obviously. We've got Archangel Michael down here defeating the devil. There's the holy scene up here. And then La Última Cena, which is the main subject of this, is obviously the Last Supper. And we've got the hand engraved stuff. Again, guys, this is all laser. So this is laser, this is laser, this is laser. So I don't want people to get misconstrued. When I do stuff, this is laser, so this is a hybrid engraved slide. What you see hand engraved is all of the really shiny glint, hand engraved, hand engraved, hand engraved. Everything as far as the design goes was a 3D sliced drawing that we did. And then obviously all of this was hand engraved right here as well. So letters are actually probably one of the hardest things to do, because if you get them wrong, everybody knows penmanship. So if they're wrong, then you just screwed it. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for all the good comments, all the positive feedback. Again, guys, thank you for allowing me to do this, and hopefully teach a little bit, and growing with you guys. We're gonna keep on doing this stuff. Today, that is it for today. We do about an hour live stream. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Go through the videos, like some of them if you can, check them out, see what you like. And until next time, guys, keep engraving, keep drawing, keep creating art. If you guys would prefer me to, schedule live streams, and that works better for you guys, please let me know, comment on some videos to schedule the live streams. And until next time, peace.